Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Welcome to Florida February, where we dedicate an entire month to America's droopy dong itself, Florida. Florida. Boom, 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 boom.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
I know.
Taylor Swift?
I know what you mean. And you are Trevin.
And I am Trevin. Oh my God.
It's okay, Trevin. It's been a minute since we've done a regular episode. I am Amanda. Welcome back, you guys. Thank you so much for enduring a dry January with us. We actually really hope that you liked all of that.
Yeah,
Question
that's the hope.
In all honesty, though, I think it was so good to give our sound effect machine a break.
I think so too.
It was just good for all. I hope that you enjoyed getting to know us on a personal level, getting to know our other podcast friends a little bit better.
Playing some games.
I hope you were entertained enough. And we are back with a vengeance with this Florida February month, you guys.
Florida vengeance.
So, Trevin, before we get into all things Florida, what is your dreadful dilemma this week?
My dreadful dilemma this week is I kind of stock up on things. I just hate having to remember buying things that often, like shampoo or like deodorant or something. I would rather know that I have like 5 sticks in the closet and I don't have to think about it for like a year or something.
Damn, that's a lot of deodorants, I must say. I've never bought deodorant in bulk. That's just a really funny example, but go on.
I use that as an example because that is where my dilemma is. I usually buy deodorant in bulk just because it doesn't take up that much space. We have a closet of toiletry type stuff for a reason. I like to put on the white deodorant, the solid deodorant.
Okay.
Not the blue gel type and not the foamy stuff, none of that. I remember when I was a kid, the blue used to kind of give me a little bit of a rash.
Oh, hell no.
I bought my normal one, which is one that I don't think is a popular one anymore, but I can still find it on Amazon. But I ordered it and I accidentally got the blue slidey kind and not the dry. And I did one of those things where I just really didn't want to go through the trouble of returning it.
I understand that.
I waited way too long, even though I was like, this isn't what I want. So I held on to it. Emily had put on a stack of things that was just like, you need to put this shit away. That was one of them. And I said, I'll just keep it. And that's what I'm using now. No rashes, no problem.
Okay.
I do strongly believe that the white dry stuff works way better, way longer.
Yeah, the blue gel stuff, anytime I've ever used it, I just felt so sticky forever and always.
I don't love it, and I don't think it stays very long. We've been going through a lot of snow days.
Oh, have we?
So I haven't been showering as much. And I've been noticing that the deodorant has a shorter lifespan than what the other one did. I could go like 2 days without showering and I wouldn't stink with the white one. And I thought, man, I guess I just don't have BO anymore. It's like, I feel pretty good about myself. I guess I'm just a naturally non-stinky guy. But I've started working out with a sleeveless shirt on, and I can smell my BO now, and it smells like the inside of a CVS.
What?
I don't know. My BO smells like a CVS.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know what it is, but it just takes me there. Like,
all right. I'm trying to picture what it smells like to be in a CVS. I feel like it smells a little clinical.
A little clinical. It's got that pharmacy kind of dull, clean smell, but it's a smell that's supposed to smell like nothing.
But a little musty.
A little musty.
A little breezy.
Easy breezy.
Easy breezy, beautiful armpit.
It's kind of a doctor's office vibe. You know, that smell of a doctor's office? Like,
yes.
I don't know what it is.
Like latex gloves and
the wood little tongue depressors. It's just something about it is a very dull smell.
Wow.
So now that I'm smelling my BO, I'm like, I I mean, it's not the worst to smell like a CVS. I'm not saying that CVS is disgusting. I'm just saying that's weird that that smells like that.
Yeah, why do you smell like that? God damn.
I don't know, but I just have to remember to put on deodorant more often. But I think I can still run through this bulk of 5 ones that I don't particularly like as much and that don't last as long, but I can still wear them fine. I will just smell like a CVS if I'm not careful.
Holy hell. Well, if you're ever in a crowd and someone's like, anyone else thinks it smells like a CVS in here, you're going to know that they're talking about your ass, okay?
Somebody's like, this Walgreens smells like a CVS.
Well, I also have a dreadful dilemma. You briefly mentioned how we've had a lot of snow days.
Indeed.
I mentioned on one of the Dry January episodes that we had a blizzard, and I talked about venting how I had a full week of snow days with my kids. But this has something to do with the blizzard and how it's changed my life, but it's not kid related this time. This time it's cat related.
Ooh.
And I gave everyone in our Facebook group a little sneak peek of it because we had, I believe it was Amy M.
I believe you're right.
She made a post in there that was like, show me the pictures of your fur babies in the snow.
Mm-hmm. Which was a great engagement idea.
God.
I've been wanting to do more with pets and clothes because nothing warms my heart more than pets and clothes.
Right.
Once we get enough listeners to where I think I could get more of those again, I would like to try to do more with pets and clothes one day.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
It's a big interest of mine.
It's a big interest of mine too.
That's how I snagged Emily on dating apps. It was just pets and clothes, baby.
Oh, don't give your secrets away. Well, mine has to do with my cat, Arlo. In the group, I posted a picture of my kids with my dogs outside in the snow, loving life. Then I made another post hours later in that same thing, and I posted a picture of Arlo sitting inside. So as most of you know, Arlo is an indoor-outdoor cat. He is pretty independent, pretty wild.
Yeah, he's a feral kind of guy.
He's feral as fuck.
But sweet to your daughters.
So sweet to my daughters. And actually, he's become so sweet to me, too. I think he really loves me. But he's still an ass. Like, that's never going to change. Ever since we've had a blizzard, though, he is an indoor cat 24/7.
Okay.
And there's a whole long tangent I could go on about that. But the most dreadful part of this dilemma is that I haven't had to change a litter box in probably 6 months or so. He just goes to the bathroom outside like all the time.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
But now that the blizzard happened, I'm having to shovel his poop again from the litter box. And I have to admit, I have been so spoiled.
Is Lila at that age yet to where you can just put it on her?
She's at the age where Winnie and her, they both take turns feeding and watering the animals, but I still be shoveling the shit.
You know, I was telling Emily recently when they have classes like statistics and like stuff like that, we should have had logistics as a class because I feel a lot of people don't learn logistics. I think as a mother with your kids, it would be really good to teach them logistics. You can't give a pet all this food and water without what comes next.
Right.
Scoop the duty.
What comes in must go out.
Right. And as a pet owner, you signed up to handle that in some way.
Yeah. I need to teach them some real responsibility. I think you are so right.
Yep. And if they want to be so helpful loving animals, they got to know that there's some smelly and disgusting parts of love.
Oh my God.
You know that just by loving them.
Do I ever? Well, Trevin.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is our first Florida February and we're doing this for the entire month, you had a really fun idea that we would give our audience an additional fast Florida crime. And it's got to be one that we can't really dive too deep into.
Yeah, something that we just couldn't turn into a story, but it's an extra bonus conversation that we can still talk about because, you know, there's a lot of Florida crimes out there, and whether it may be just a little too bad for us or maybe just don't have enough information.
Yes.
So a listener of ours, Eric A., who has sent us many different articles, and he sent us a lot of very motivational and kind words, but I don't think I got around to using any of the ones that he had sent me before.
Ah.
And so he sent me this one and said, it has to do with Florida. It's a sports crime. You could tell it around the Super Bowl time to line it up. And I was like, that's so perfect. And I thought it would be even better if I won my fantasy football league this year and I would like rub it in everybody's face and tell that story.
Yes.
I did not win. I lost.
You didn't win, so you have to return the trophy?
Yeah, the trophy's going to have to go home probably at the start of next season. I got 5th place.
That's really sad.
Honestly, I was too focused on all of the stuff in the background for this show that I forgot a lot of games happened. And
no.
Either way, I'm still a winner in the real world, not the fantasy one.
Come on.
So he gave me this crime, and I thought, yes, I'm going to tell this story. But then I was having such a hard time finding the angle in which I could tell it. And I think just how it happened and everything behind it is so funny on its own that I thought we should still just give it to people.
Yes.
So this is from October 29th of 2002, and I'm coming from localtin.com. Former UM player accused of defecating in closet cuts deal.
Okay, I'm seated.
This is before he got drafted, but he did go to the NFL. His name is Najee Davenport. He played for the Packers, which I believe was the exact same team that whichever serial killer that was that we just talked about a bit ago on the football episode.
Oh, God.
Was it the like highway killer or something like that? I can't remember.
Don't ask me.
Just weird. Green Bay, come on. Najee Davenport is now with the Green Bay Packers, but it was his actions in the Barry University dorm room that got him into legal trouble. A female student at Barry told police she woke up in the middle of the night and found the football player in her closet defecating into her laundry basket. Davenport was arrested and charged with 1 count of criminal mischief and 1 count of burglary. According to his attorney, the charges will be dismissed in exchange for Davenport teaching a series of football clinics in the Overtown neighborhood where he grew up.
They're like, we could really use your skill set. Please.
His attorney said, thanks to the plea deal, it won't be necessary for us to dig to the bottom of the situation, and we're going to leave it where it was.
Okay, I just think that's kind of funny that they're like, you shat in a closet, all right? You can't get around that, but you also have some good football capabilities, so can you get over here and teach these kids?
Well, like the football episode we just had not too long ago, it's like if you have the football skills, we'll go really easy on you if you can just kind of leverage it in a different way.
For sure. They probably felt like pooping in the closet in comparison to some of the more heinous acts of football players. They're like, this one we can handle.
And he was like such an asshole about it. Like, not only did they take him to court for it, but he was just like, I didn't do it. But he was just like too angry and outspoken about how much he didn't do it. And after he cut this plea deal, he was like, yeah, I plead no contest, but it actually just means I'm not guilty. And he was like yelling at them saying, show me the proof. Show me the proof. So you're just yelling, asking people to show you the poop?
I was hoping that's where you were going.
To show you a little bit about how our brains work with making the show, I could not wrap my head around it enough to make a story because it seems like, yes, it was him, but because of the court thing, he wasn't technically guilty, which means they never had to dig any further to explain anymore. So, like, was it a dare? Was it a hazing thing? Was this an ex-girlfriend that he was just trying to teach her a lesson?
Was it like how sometimes guys get drunk and then they just pee everywhere inside, but he was just taking a dump?
Well, and she doesn't seem to really know him, too, which it's just like, well, I don't know. I don't know how unsafe she felt in this situation, rolling over to see a man in her closet shitting in her laundry basket. So I feel really bad for her in that situation. And I'm really sad that I'm sure she didn't get the justice that she wanted on that. But I also just couldn't make a joke around it because I was just like, there's so much unknown.
That's how I feel about the one I'm going to share next episode. I wanted more, but I couldn't find it.
They did say that his nickname on the field was Dookie and that one of the people gave him practice jersey of number 2. So the nickname followed him into his NFL career afterwards, which is another thing that makes me believe, I do believe he did it.
As it should. I'm sorry. If you're going to take a dump in a laundry basket as a grown man or woman or person, that nickname should follow you around.
Yes.
Really and truly. I want to know, did he wipe his butt with her clothing?
See, logistics.
I need to know details. That's the kind of detail I need. Motive would be nice to know as well, but some things are just going to go unsaid and we have to be at peace with that.
Yeah, we just have to leave the duty where it lies, like the guy said or whatever. I do believe he got into some more like physical crimes later down the road. He's like way retired. But yeah, I believe that he also did have some like worse crimes that were more violent against people, like fighting or something.
Okay.
But on this crime alone.
Hey, you know what? If you shit in my laundry, those are fighting actions right there.
And you should be known for that.
Yep.
Obviously didn't hurt him from getting a career where he's making millions of dollars.
Or
but
like, just put a number 2 on him and send him out on the field.
Yeah. Hey, Dookie, good run.
Well, this week, usually we do one of our normal segments, but because it's the first Florida episode, we are going to be doing a special segment only this week. And this is kind of like an iconic, well-known game that I would love to hear all of our listeners do as well and let us know what comes up for them. So definitely feel free to play along and share what pops up. But this week, Trevin and I are going to be playing the Florida Man birthday game.
Yes, which I'm actually going to cut in here real quick and tell you. Last night, as I was going to bed preparing to record this episode, we had gotten a message from a listener named Deanna. And Deanna sent us this message that says, "Hey guys, I hope your year is going great so far. My name is Deanna. I'm a listener from North Carolina. I can't remember how long I've been listening, but I do know Creeps and Crimes got me into y'all's podcast.
Yes.
You guys keep me going during my work shifts. Anyways, I listened to the part where you wanted stories for February, and that's my birthday month, February 10th. And when I was in middle school, I can't remember why, but my teacher had us look into crimes that were committed on our birthdays. So basically saying they played this same game.
Nice.
They gave us the link of a crime and just thought it would be very fun if we would share that on the podcast. And I was like, well, that's so serendipitous because tomorrow I'm going to get up and we're going to record an episode where we already play this game.
Yes.
So I thought for being on the same wavelength as us, we will tell your birthday one as well.
Oh my God, please do.
Okay, so the link that I got is really confusing. It says like Florida Birthday Challenge and it says February 10th. But it was showing me the story from Wendy's where the alligator gets thrown through the window. I don't know if the link is being goofy. I did not check this before when I confirmed last night.
It's okay.
The thing says on February 10th, and then it says in October this happened, and that doesn't make any sense. So,
okay. Well, I can tell mine. So for the Florida Man birthday game, in my Google search, and I looked up Florida Man arrested on May 9th, because that is my birthday to all of you.
Oh, yeah. We've celebrated many times on the show.
Yes, it's around Mother's Day. So, yes. I found an article from the Miami Herald written by Madeline Marr with the headline, "Florida Man arrested after throwing lunchmeat at cop." And I was immediately drawn in, as you could imagine.
You had me at meat.
So I had to hear more, and I wrote this brief synopsis of the crime. Okay?
Yes.
An officer responded to the Puffin Stuff, a smoke shop in Port Orange, Florida, around noon on May 9th, 2023.
I love that name.
I know, Puffin Stuff. A store employee reported that a customer inside the store was making her feel uncomfortable, said vulgar things, touched merchandise, and tried to go behind the counter. After police located 69-year-old William Busey eating on a bench outside of the store, he was asked to leave the area. William then took an aggressive fighting stance, began to curse and rage about suing the county sheriff's office, and said he had a black belt in karate. At some point, William is seen in the body cam footage taking a piece of lunch meat from his sandwich and hurling it at the cop. The complaint said that the food landed on the officer's left side of their chest. William was also heard saying, "You're lucky I didn't have my pocket knife with me."
Whoa.
The officer restrained the suspect and placed him under arrest. William Busey was booked into the Volusia County Jail on no bond, charged with battery of a law enforcement officer.
Damn.
All over the meat, my dude.
It didn't say what kind of meat.
It didn't say, it didn't specify. I didn't even watch the video. I think just saw a picture of him. It was just a complaint made in front of the Puffin Stuff. The employee wanted them to vacate the premises, stop making them feel weird, and instead he said, "I'm a black belt. You're lucky I don't have my pocket knife." Ah, yeah!
And throws the meat.
Yeah.
What meat do you think would lead a person to do such a crime?
Baloney.
Bologna.
All the way.
Well, I mean, acting out like this, I would assume they're already full of bologna.
They are full of it. It's clear as day.
I don't know why, for me, something about salami. Like the sound of it sounds like karate, salami.
Salami would be a good one, but I just feel like bologna's the less demure version of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think
It's the scrappier version.
it's gotta be, right? Gotta be.
I'll
Gotta
take
be.
that. And again, it just also works because this mischief is just a bunch of bologna.
It is.
Well, I love that. That's a great crime for your birthday.
I know. I was like, God damn.
What year was that?
2023. Very recent.
That is super recent.
Yeah.
So that was for last year's birthday. I was just trying to think of what birthday that coincided. I know where you were at last year. I was going to say, where were you at when this happened? But you were here. So I've got one for me that I've actually heard before. I don't think I could ever tell it.
See, it's perfect for this then.
It says it was on my birthday, February 28th.
Coming up soon.
This is from the Ant Project. Florida man who allegedly threatened family with Coldplay lyrics in standoff after SWAT promises him pizza.
I mean, that could honestly be you one day.
With Coldplay lyrics?
Yeah, I could see you being on some dramatic shit like that.
This may not be as petty as we're thinking. It might get a little worse.
Oh, no.
A Florida man accused of threatening his family by texting them Coldplay lyrics and warning them of retribution from his, quote, Nazi prison associates was persuaded by police to end a standoff in return for a fresh slice of pizza, reports say.
Sorry, it did take a dark twist, but
Yeah.
the pizza made it better.
I think I had looked at this one before because I was drawn in, not by my birthday, but then I was like, uh-oh. But hey, this is a great kind of fast Florida sort of thing.
Yeah.
Evan Charles McLemore, under the belief that SWAT team negotiators were ready to hand him one of America's favorite foods, was taken into custody Tuesday following a 4-hour confrontation at a Pensacola home. Quote, never underestimate the power of pizza with a flavored crust, the Pensacola Police Department wrote on Facebook, while adding officers, quote, cannot comment on the rumors about pineapple being on said pizza.
Oh my God. Of course they're making it about the pineapple.
It's the silly cops trying to get their viral moment.
Yep.
It was not immediately clear if responding officers even gave McLemore a piece, but they did deliver him charges of resisting an officer without violence and aggravated stalking. Look, they even posed.
What the hell? They
So
got the
happy.
pizza and then they didn't even give him a slice.
I hope they did.
Damn.
The newspaper says the incident unfolded after police initially responded to a call about a possible battery and reportedly learned McLemore had barricaded himself inside a room at the home. The suspect, it added, had called out he had a gun to his head and he was not going back to prison no matter what it took.
Holy hell.
After numerous attempts to lure McLemore out of the room proved unsuccessful, SWAT was called in and they deployed the big guns, the pizza. Very funny writers.
They should have been and they deployed the pepperoni.
I'm just trying to figure out where Coldplay comes in here.
Yeah, and do we have the exact Coldplay lyrics?
I started to read the gun to my head thing. I was like, is this a Coldplay lyric?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. McLemore's family eventually cut off communication with him, but not before he sent them one text with the Coldplay lyrics. Quote, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Yeah. I would probably call authorities if Jordan ever texted that to me also. I'd be like, this crazy nut has boarded himself up in the bedroom, texting me Coldplay. Someone get this man a pizza. Stat.
Yeah, you're not you and you're hungry.
Oh my God.
The lyrics from the song Fix You were meant by the band to be uplifting, though it's unclear how McLemore may have meant them. Police records say McLemore was served an 18-month prison term for battery on a person over the age of 65. His bond has been set to $100,000, and that's where that one left off.
Well, that was quite the ride. Happy birthday to you.
I'm having a hard time in the moment of recording this episode to verify the Wendy's story because it keeps saying a different date in the articles and it doesn't feel right for the February 10th thing.
Yeah.
But Deanna, happy birthday in February. We're both born in February, and I'm not sure if that's the same astrological sign, but you know what? I feel closer to you because of it.
Yes, so do I.
And shout out to you, and thank you for the message.
Thank you so much, and happy birthday to all of our February birthdays coming up this month.
This will actually be the first episode to come out before your birthday, so
There you go.
good for you.
And in honor of all your births, here's some ads.
And we are back to this jam-packed first Florida February episode. So many crimes we've talked about.
So many.
Gosh, like you'd almost think that we were one of those episodes, or like one of those funny crime episodes that just covered a bunch of them.
I know, but trust us, we're about to get more in depth.
Yes, we are. Because I have my first Florida February story for this episode.
There you go.
I think it's a great one. I've got a good lineup here. And no better one to start with than a story about a Florida man.
Yes.
So let's just jump on into this thing and see where our first stop in Florida takes us this year. And here we go. Confidence is like Ryan Gosling's abs. Powerful, and something we all strive to possess. It's the trust in our abilities that propels us to great achievements. But when confidence grows unchecked, it balloons into hubris, a reckless overconfidence that collides with reality. Take, for example, Napoleon, whose European vacation got a little too ambitious. Or Gatsby, who thought he could rewrite the past. Each fell victim to the cosmic laws of hubris, laws that the universe always enforces with a front row seat to our spectacular failures. But who's to say they were wrong? Maybe they just weren't confident enough. That's the thing about hubris. It's a gamble. A wild, audacious bet that says, I can bend the rules, rewrite the script, and outrun the consequences. In the cases of Napoleon and Leonardo da Gatsby, the universe gave them a firm no. But today, we've got a confident Florida man who's ready to place his own bet. Whether he'll succeed where others failed, or join the long list of those who didn't, my story holds the answer. Because anything is possible when the story begins once upon a time in Florida. Who am I to spoil it? Meet Nicholas, a 19-year-old Florida boy, searching for the respect of a Florida man. Ever since he was a child, Nicholas admired the kind of men who could raise their voices and command the impossible.
I'm angry!
Men who demanded what they wanted from the world, and somehow always seemed to get it.
Your wish is my command, King!
They were immune to the constraints of facts, logic, or universal rules, wielding an audacity that defied explanation. To Nicholas, the secret to their success was simple: unshakable confidence. It was the key that unlocked the power to bend the world to their will, and he was determined to find it for himself. Although Nicholas possessed the blissful unawareness of all his masculine forefathers, he lacked the commanding presence they seemed to carry. Maybe it was his pathetic excuse for a big boy voice, or perhaps it was the way no one could feel threatened by his blank, doe-eyed stare. Anytime he barked orders at someone he wanted to motivate,
Do as I say!
they didn't see an attack dog on a mission. They saw a Cocker Spaniel in a blue bonnet.
Aw, isn't that cute?
Nicholas refused to let his physical or vocal shortcomings hold him back. If people couldn't see that he was a man, and therefore deserving of unquestioned authority, he'd simply remind them. And what better way to do that than by boasting endlessly about every minor accomplishment? There was no feat too small for Nicholas to turn into a braggadocious quip. Took a shit and nailed a clean first wipe? Saved 2 cents a gallon on fuel during a shopping trip? These weren't just personal wins. They were proof of his greatness. Every interaction could veer into a self-congratulatory monologue, signed, sealed, and forcefully delivered straight into your ears. After all, no achievement added to his legacy unless he explicitly told everyone he knew. Even breakfast was an opportunity for Nicholas to brag. After wolfing down his mom's flapjacks, he posted on Facebook, "Just destroyed these tasty bitches in record time," conveniently omitting that his record was closer to 15 minutes. He reveled in the lie until his neighbor Dan's laughing emoji brought him crashing back to reality. And the worst part, Nicholas couldn't decide if Dan was laughing at how hilarious his post was or how unimpressive it had turned out to be. Overwhelmed by a sudden wave of emotions, Nicholas stormed out the front door and into his Hyundai Elantra. He loved that car, mostly because it was his. To everyone else, it was just a mid-level sedan. But to Nicholas, it was a supercar, built for speed and radiating an irresistible magnetism to chicks.
Is that an Elantra?
He sped through the streets of St. Augustine, his mind racing with thoughts of the brag-worthy accomplishments that lay ahead. Just as he was deciding where to begin his day of self-praise, his plans were abruptly cut short by the flashing red and blue lights of a police siren, halting both his car and his train of thought.
Oh shit!
He yelled into his rearview mirror, snapping back to reality. Does he have any idea who I am? He's pulling me over like I'm just some nobody. Despite the bravado in his words, Nicholas obeyed the officer's instructions, reluctantly pulling his Elantra into the nearest parking lot. He fidgeted in his seat, glancing nervously at the police cruiser, which sat ominously in the distance. In his fantasy, Nicholas floored the gas pedal and vanished into a cloud of dust. A true Florida man.
I'm gonna need all the backup.
But this wasn't a movie, it was a parking lot, and getting pulled over was humiliating. As the officer's door clicked shut, a rush of defeat surged through Nicholas. But mingling with the defeat was something deeper, something unshakable. A twisting realization that he could no longer settle for the mundane. This was no time for small moments to be exaggerated into big Facebook posts. If he wanted to be the Florida man he always imagined, he had to act like one. Right here, right now. With the cop crossing the threshold between vehicles, Nicholas shifted the car into drive. His breath quickened as he stomped the accelerator and yanked the wheel hard to the side. The back end of the Elantra whipped around with a screech, tires protesting as he bolted out of the parking lot and into the open streets. Weaving through traffic, Nicholas kept both his hands on the wheel, adrenaline pumping. He checked the mirrors, expecting to see flashing lights, but instead, he saw something far more captivating. A sexy Florida man staring back at him.
Hello, you dirty dog.
He said to his reflection, a sly grin spreading across his face.
Looking like a particularly bad boy today.
For a few glorious moments, he basked in the rush of his bold escape. But as the drive continued, the thrill began to wane. No flashing lights appeared in the distance. No sirens pierced the air. There was no need for evasive maneuvers or quick turns down side streets. It was as if Nicholas's daring maneuver had left the officer utterly dazzled, frozen in awe of the sheer authority with which he commanded the car.
There goes a legend.
Now that was an act worth bragging about. Desperate for validation, Nicholas grabbed his phone. Hey, it's Nicholas. I missed a call while I was doing a donut to escape a cop. Was that you? He asked anyone who'd answer. But the flat responses left him empty. If a braggart pulls off something cool, but no one's around to hear about it, did it even happen? Desperate for validation, Nicholas even started driving past police cruisers, hoping for a hint that he was a wanted man. But each time, the officers barely glanced his way, treating him like just another law-abiding citizen.
Howdy.
Nicholas belonged in the cast of the next big car action franchise after the stunt he pulled. But instead, here he was, begging for recognition, even from those who should have been looking for him.
Please notice me.
When all else failed, Nicholas turned to Ross Dress for Less, where cheap deals and white-tiled halls never judged. With his Hyundai Elantra nestled comfortably in the Ross Dress for Less parking lot, Nicholas stared at his phone, scrolling through his contacts. He racked his brain for someone, anyone who might actually appreciate his daring tale. And then, like a bolt of lightning, it hit him. His finger hovered over the screen before confidently tapping a number. He knew the perfect audience for his next brag.
911, what is your emergency?
On May 5th, 2019, 19-year-old Florida man Nicholas Jones was arrested for reckless driving, fleeing and eluding, misusing 911, and violating probation after performing a burnout during a traffic stop and then calling 911 to ask why he hadn't been caught. The incident began the day before when Jones was pulled over for a taillight issue. As the officer approached his vehicle, Jones squealed his tires and sped out of the parking lot. Approximately an hour later, he made the following call to the St. Johns County emergency line.
911, where's your emergency?
Yeah, I want to know, so, I ran from a cop, 30 minutes to an hour ago. I was the guy over there off of Kings of the State. What do we pay you guys for? I've driven past 4 cops. And
What do you mean you ran from a cop?
I mean, he turned his lights on me and got behind me, and as he was walking up to my door, I did a donut around him and left.
Okay. So you want to now see the officer, or what is your question?
My question is, I'm assuming he put an APB outage that has someone looking for my car. But, he definitely got the plate number. But,
Okay.
I've passed, 4 cops just driving around. What are you guys doing?
Well, we're working on mini calls, sir.
During the call, officers were able to track Jones through his phone. They discovered he also had an outstanding warrant for a separate incident. The next day, officers located his vehicle and arrested him in the parking lot of a Ross Dress for Less. When asked why he called 911 to brag about evading the police, Jones reportedly said, "That cop had no right to stop me. I saw him turn his lights and sirens on and was going to stop, but I didn't want to." Later, he admitted he fled the traffic stop simply because it would be, quote, fun. As for the question he raised during the call, why he hadn't been caught yet, deputies informed Jones that the officer who pulled him over initially didn't have his license plate number. They were only able to arrest him because of his 911 call. To that, Jones allegedly responded, "That's so funny. So I told on myself? No cop can catch me in my Hyundai Elantra. That thing is fast." No further details regarding the punishment have been made public. Hubris is a double-edged sword, a reckless confidence that both pushes boundaries and collides with them. For Nicholas, there was no applause for his daring escape, nor any trophy declaring his Elantra the fastest car in Florida. Instead, the police tracked him down and arrested him. At first glance, Nicholas seems like a textbook case of hubris, a modern-day Gatsby or Napoleon, undone by his own delusions. But in the realm of Florida man, where legends are fueled by absurdity, Nicholas still sees himself as a winner. And perhaps that's what makes hubris so hard to combat. No matter the outcome, the myth lives on.
Florida man, more like Florida toddler.
What do we even pay you guys for?
He's like, I didn't want to stay put. I did a donut and nobody gave me props.
Yeah, he was so happy to say that he did that donut.
Oh my God. The 911 operator's like, yeah, bitch, we have other calls. What do you want me to do? This is what he looks like. Oh my God.
You can see it.
I can totally see it in his face. He's like, yeah, excuse me, but what do we even pay you for? And she's just like, we have real life-threatening emergencies right now, sir.
It's like, you're 19 years old. Are you really paying me? Like, how much taxes have you paid?
You've barely been alive on this earth, young man.
Yeah, what gives you the place to even have that tax argument? What do I pay you for with all my hard-earned money?
Like, wait until you're in your 30s and then you can bitch about taxes like we do, okay?
I just had to add that into his character. Like, I know in a lot of our stories, I will give a man character who's obsessed with his car. But in a lot of these instances, the details that you're given are basically like, this man loved his car. And then you have to build the character around it. And when it says, nobody could catch my Hyundai Elantra, that thing is fast, and you just drive a sedan and you're bragging, it's too easy.
You made it far too easy, but thank you for that softball pitch because that was the classic Florida man tale to start us off. You're right. That was a beautiful introduction into the month.
And a 911 call. We don't get those often.
No, we don't. And the fact that I got to listen to the real call and the arrogance in that boy's voice. Come on, you were asking for it.
When you really try to find the character in these people sometimes, it's so silly to see that's like, I don't think I was exaggerating that much.
No, this seems like you were spot on.
They said he was driving around for about an hour and he was just do. Oh, hi, cop.
He noticed each and every time he passed by a cop. So you cannot rule out that he wasn't looking for them.
He was probably doing like the bad boy finger, like.
Yeah, he's driving boy, like putting his finger up, like, did I do that? And no one was giving him the attention he desired, so that he had to call 911. Come on.
I just whipped this badass donut, and I don't know how the hell you guys haven't found me
He's
yet.
like, I'm sure there was an APB put out on me. And it's like, no, bitch.
Yeah,
you
we don't know
are
who the fuck you are.
Insignificant. There's just no way if I escaped something like that I would intentionally call and turn myself in.
Yeah, I mean, I get the story being cool, but that's so dumb, especially immediately right after. I just wonder how his parents feel, you know?
Oh, they're probably so proud. Well, I already know our connection, and it goes deeper than just Florida men, but very different how they turned out.
Oh, good. I'm excited. I know in a lot of senses, you know, our stories are all kind of Florida man of the world, but when we have to do it on Florida, it's a special kind of wild we can go with.
Oh, for sure. Well, I also have a Florida story, and for the listeners who have been with us either from the beginning or listeners who have gone back to the beginning and listened to some of our early episodes, this actually ties in to a dreadful dilemma that I had back on episode 36 Crotch on the Rocks.
Crotch on the Rocks. My God, I still love that one.
That's an iconic episode.
Like goat testicles and put them in a drink or something? Is that how we got that name?
Yeah, it was something. It was a weird drink concoction segment that I'm pretty sure you talked about. And you were coming up with names of what you would call it. And yeah. But I'm not going to give it away on what the dilemma is. I'm going to let you guys figure that out. But yeah, that was an old episode. We were still called Seriously Sinister back then.
My God.
But it's a good one. I would recommend listening again. But anyway, I'm excited to jump into Florida February, and here we go. You can learn a lot about a person from their car decals. Some pridefully display how large their family is, with stick figures for each of their kids and pets, while others would never want to drive with a baby, choosing instead a bitch on board sticker. On occasion, you may see a bumper lined with a thought-provoking message like, "I was an honor student. I don't know what happened." But more often than not, you'll spot a rear window covered in naughty language, such as,
"If you're gonna ride my ass, at least pull my hair."
Favorite sports teams, political preferences, and even the most obscure interest, like extreme ironing or duck herding, can be displayed on the back of your vehicle. Although car decals are a common sight all around the globe, there is one state in the U.S. that's notorious for proud displays of ridiculousness: Florida. So slap your opinions to the back of our petty hoopty as we travel to the land of gators, golfing, and grifters. It was an average spring Sunday for a police officer in Lake City, Florida during the year 2019. Patrolling the rowdy area in his cruiser was a cop with the self-proclaimed nickname Deputy Discipline. He wasn't like the other officers who let Florida men run rampant in the streets. Deputy Discipline followed every rule in his cop handbook to perfection.
Wear uniform? Check. Impose authority to the community? Check.
Although he had the shortest legs on the force, he also possessed the longest list of arrests. He had run-ins with all types of delinquents, from bath salt guzzling thieves to sweaty old streakers. Not much surprised the deputy anymore, as he believed he had truly seen it all over the years. He was proud to be an honorable officer of the law and a dedicated father of 4, handling both jobs with the utmost of seriousness. Deputy Discipline stopped at a red light, scanning the humid streets for any wrongdoing and taking a swig from his coffee mug. Only, just as the hot, bitter liquid touched his lips, he spotted something shocking, causing him to spew the dark coffee onto his dashboard.
My God.
The officer whispered in pure rage and disbelief before flipping on his cop siren. He quickly followed the nasty pickup truck that caused him to expel his caffeine, noticing it was a brown Chevy. Even though the color of the vehicle reminded the officer of feces, it still wasn't the foulest thing about its appearance. The truck pulled over into a nearby parking lot, allowing the officer to park right behind it. Deputy Discipline squinted his eyes, confirming the disgusting message plastered across the truck's rear window. He then stepped out of his cop car and walked toward the vulgar villain in question. When the cop reached the truck, his head barely reached the cab windows. However, he could see that there were 2 men inside with confused looks on their faces. Deputy Discipline cleared his throat and spoke with a firm voice to the driver.
License and registration,
the officer said with a stoic facial expression. He collected the driver's information, now knowing him to be 23-year-old Florida man Dylan Shane Webb. Although he was young, in the deputy's eyes, he was old enough to know better.
The reason I'm pulling you over today is for the derogatory sticker on the back of your truck.
The officer explained, glaring back at the large white letter stuck to Dylan's tinted rear window. He figured the young man had to know he would be pulled over for this bad behavior eventually. Only instead, Dylan responded with a defiant question, asking,
"How's it derogatory?"
How is it not derogatory?
The officer asked, stunned by the criminal's retort.
"It's just words."
The driver's simple explanations were only making the deputy more heated, causing him to take this case very personally. He thought of his own children and the community he wanted them to grow up in. It was certainly not one that allowed raunchy stickers to be displayed in public.
So some 10-year-old kid sitting in the passenger seat of his mama's vehicle looking over and reads this sticker? How is she gonna explain that?
The officer's voice cracked with emotion.
"That's the parents' job,"
Dylan said in a calm tone, only achieved by a kid-free adult.
Okay, hang tight for me.
The officer said in a short and threatening manner, taking Dylan's information to his cruiser. Deputy Discipline then grabbed his handheld digital camera and snapped photos of the truck. He captured close-ups of the sticker, long-distance shots of the pickup, and a few artsy angles to encapsulate the crime scene. With each click of the camera, he grew more enraged by the situation he found himself in. He grabbed some paperwork from his cruiser and returned back to the driver's side door of the truck.
I'm gonna need you to step out of the vehicle. Do you have any weapons on you?
The officer spoke in a harsh tone, opening up the truck door to encourage a quicker exit.
"No,"
said Dylan. The officer searched him for weapons as soon as he stepped outside of the truck. Although Dylan was a full head taller than the deputy, he was still given a full frisking.
"Is there a problem with the truck?"
Dylan questioned, as his leg was groped tightly.
Is there a problem? Yeah, I'm gonna explain it to you.
The cop stated as he finished his search for weapons.
What you have on your window is a misdemeanor in the state of Florida. I have 4 kids, a 14-year-old, 10-year-old, 6-year-old, and 4-month-old. If my 6-year-old looked at me and said, "Dad, what does I eat ass mean?" I'd be furious. Because of the way you handled this situation, I issued you a court date, so I need you to sign here.
Dylan looked at the court date paperwork and then over at his large "I eat ass" sticker on his truck's rear. He shook his head and reluctantly signed, proving that he was given his court date information. Although the two men seemed to have very opposite opinions about the truck's decal, it appeared that this intense interaction was coming to an end until the deputy made one final request to Dylan.
I'm gonna have you take off one of those letters so that the word...
But before he could finish, Dylan interjected.
"No, I'm not doing that. You're not infringing on my First Amendment right. I'm gonna need a copy of your ID too."
Feeling the power slowly shifting was offensive and unsettling to the deputy.
It's all on the ticket right there. Hang tight for me right there, man.
He retreated back to his cop car, where he felt safe and in charge. While outside, Dylan texted his mom in a panic.
"Mom, I need you. A cop is bullying me for eating ass."
The officer took a few deep breaths. He knew it was time to call his boss for some confirmation and a pep talk. His boss also had a self-proclaimed nickname, finding it in his cell contacts as Sergeant Superior.
"Hello?"
I pulled a man over because he has a statement on the back of his truck that says, "I eat ass." Okay? It's a misdemeanor in the state of Florida. I issued him a statement to appear. I asked him to remove a letter, and he refused. Is that not resisting?
What part? What are you charging him with?
Obscene writing on a vehicle. According to statute number 847011, subsection 2, it is illegal.
And he's refusing to remove it from the back glass?
Yes!
Has he been arrested?
No!
How old?
23.
Take him to jail and tow his shit. It says, "I eat ass"?
All capital letters, I eat ass. 5 to 6 inches, big bold white letters, saying, I eat ass.
Outside in the parking lot, the officer and offender were back, meeting face to neck because of their height difference. Regardless of this, the officer took back his authority, cuffing Dylan and placing him under arrest.
Now, no getting cheeky with me, son. I'll get to the bottom of this vulgarity in our community, locking up one asshole at a time.
On Sunday, May 5th of 2019, an unnamed deputy from the Columbia County Sheriff's Office in Lake City, Florida, pulled over a truck with a rear sticker reading, "I eat ass." The brown Chevy truck and the naughty decal belonged to 23-year-old Florida man Dylan Shane Webb. Ironically, Dylan was pulled over in the same parking lot where he spent $35 to get his ass-eating sticker made. In cop dashcam footage, it captures the entire interaction between Dylan and the deputy. At first, it appears the officer initially cited Dylan for obscenity and gave him a notice to appear in court. Yet, after the deputy told Dylan to remove one of the letters of the word ass, things changed. Dylan refused to remove a letter stating his First Amendment rights. After having a call with another officer going over statutes, the deputy placed Dylan Shane Webb under arrest. Also captured on the footage is Dylan's mom arriving on scene to take her son's truck home, but was told it would be towed regardless. When speaking to her son, who was in the back of the cruiser, he told his mama that he is a tax-paying citizen and will not remove the "I eat ass" sticker. According to a Columbia County Sheriff's Office report, Dylan was charged with misdemeanor counts of violating Florida's obscenity law and resisting an officer without violence. He was held in a holding cell, but was released several hours later on a $2,500 bond. Ultimately, the charges against Dylan were dropped, and in return, he filed a wrongful arrest lawsuit against the sheriff's office. Only, in the end, the lawsuit was also shut down by U.S. District Judge Marcia Morales Howard of the Middle District of Florida. They ruled that the arrest was arguably justified under Florida's obscenity law, giving the officer and his supervisor protection from the lawsuit. Dylan went on to do an interview with Vice about his arrest. All the while, he is wearing a shirt that says, "Ask me about my First Amendment rights. #no victim, no crime." When asked by the interviewer if he, in fact, does eat ass, Dylan responded with a confident, "Yeah." This story really proves that what we put on the rear of our vehicles matters. You never know what may offend or repulse someone, especially all of the strict and short officers out there. The next time you decide to slap something to the ass of your ride, ask yourself the question, would I get arrested over this?
Okay, so before we jump in, can I just say I watched the entirety of the entire dash cam multiple times, and most of it is a word-for-word exchange. I did edit it down. I did add a few things for like continuity and to make it shorter. And then, of course, the final line that the officer gave about getting cheeky and to the bottom and arresting one asshole at a time. That was all made up by me as a transition line. But I just wanted to clarify that from the jump. Most of it, though, is literally what they said.
How is the audio quality on that?
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
I wonder if I could pull it and do something with it.
Maybe so, yeah. Work your magic. I can send it to you. It's as soon as they pull him over and you get to hear not only the deputy's interaction with William, but you also hear his whole conversation with his superior.
Boss. Oh my God.
And it's so cringy, you guys.
I eat ass.
No, you can tell that the officer is just like, he got interrupted to even take this call. And he literally was like, what are you even? And he's like, I'm charging him with obscenity. Like, he's clearly like, how do you not see the importance of this like I do? Yeah. Eventually, the superior is just kind of beat down by this guy who cares way too much. And he's just like, I mean, if the statute says it, then yeah, tow his shit, you know?
Damn, Johnny Do-Gooder.
And then I, of course, watched the Vice interview with William, who got pulled over.
He has this whole t-shirt on, and
I do like the ask me about. The ass pun is very funny.
it's so funny. He seems actually like a funny character. That's why I wanted to poke fun more at the officer than at him. But I will say this does tie in to a dreadful dilemma. However, mine was way more shocking than what Williams was.
I thought it just said I eat ass, but I can't remember now.
No. I'm going to pull it up so I don't get it wrong, because I scrolled through every single one of our Instagram posts until I found this, which we've posted quite a lot over the years. The one that I saw in the parking lot of the Price Chopper up here in Kansas City all those years ago had 6 stickers on the back. So it was obscene. Like, it was so extra. The main one in the middle said, "I'ma eat your shitter like an apple fritter."
Like an apple fritter.
And then it had 69 as its separate one. Then
right
it
with that
had
one.
2 I eat ass stickers diagonally in both corners. I eat ass, I eat ass. Then there's a stick figure of people performing some oral, and it says, "I heart sushi." And then the last one says, "My couch pulls out, I don't."
My God. I wonder what his tattoos look like.
But when I saw that all of this, all these lawsuits, right? They both tried to charge each other, and ultimately none of it came to anything except for wasted time and money. But all of it just for the I eat ass sticker, which here I am seeing this car that has like 5,000 offensive messages on it. I wonder if that guy has ever gotten pulled over. I'd be so curious to know.
Probably just depends on the area and if you've got a cop that just feels over important.
Yes, someone who wants to take their job very seriously that day. I'm not exaggerating. He said he had 4 kids. He brought up, what would he say to his mama if he sees this? Like,
Yeah.
he really took it hard. Very hard, very personally.
It just seems like you'd have to live in a bubble to be that offended. But it's
Yeah.
like, you're a cop. How does the real world not just present itself so much to you that it's just like, I eat a sticker?
Yeah.
Ugh, I see people get shot.
You're in Florida. Toughen it up a bit. The guy who got pulled over was like, "I just saw another truck today with the same sticker." And he's like, "Well, I'm going to arrest them too if I see them." And I'm like, okay.
Here's my card. Call me if you see him again.
Yeah, this guy is too much.
Wow. That want to like kind of control and keep people being a certain way for them is wild to me.
Yes. And can we just say our connection?
This is off the chain, y'all.
Both of our crimes took place on the exact same day of the exact same year. I repeat. No, I won't. But like, that's never happened.
Yeah, we actually had to stop ourselves in the middle of this last story right here to confirm with each other. But that is insane. I don't think we've ever done that before. To start it off on Florida February, no less. I just got to say, I think that's a great omen for this year.
I think so too. It was May 5th, 2019, 2 Florida men getting pulled over and the differences that occurred.
What city was yours in?
Mine was Lake City, Florida, and yours was Pensacola, right?
No, it was basically the St. Augustine area. 99.4 miles apart.
Holy hell, that's pretty far.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, how funny would that be? Because, you know, in some movies where they plant a little seed that they can do a spinoff from.
Right.
And I thought, how funny would that be if when my dispatcher goes, "We're answering a lot of calls, sir."
Yeah.
Like, what if that was yours, you know?
It's like, we got an I eat ass sticker
Yeah.
that takes priority.
Yeah, we don't give a shit that you ran away with your tail light out, buddy.
Oh my.
People are eating ass out here, and we don't know what to do about it.
What a beautiful first episode back, you guys.
It feels great, and I'm going to talk about it more later in the coming weeks, but
We've missed you all.
I feel lighter going into the beginning of this year.
Yes, me too. And I just hope that everyone is having the best week. And remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to have CVS BO.
Bye.
See ya.
To everyone out there that needs a pick-me-up, don't listen to Coldplay and threaten your relatives. Come on over to Patreon. We have bonus episodes, movie nights, ad-free options. Come on over.
And do you want to see short videos with pictures that go along with these crimes? Follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
Tell us about your raunchy bumper stickers. Send them to livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And are you loving Florida February? Give us 5 stars wherever you rate podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods.
Oh my God! I think your crime took place on May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo.
So did mine.
Oh, wait, no, mine was mine May 5th?
It was sometime around my birthday.
I want to say that I did have a Cinco de Mayo, and I just didn't call it out for being...
I think we both had crimes on the same day. Florida crimes on the same damn day?
May 5th, 19.
Mine is May 5th of 19! Sunday, May 5th of 2019.
Oh, I didn't put a day on mine, but...
Wow. Well, that's the connection more than pulling over Florida men.
I eat ass.